I get shit done, I have fun, it's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Business Renovator. I'm actually stoked to be here today with my guest. Interesting dude. We spent some time in the green room talking about sports and some successes and wins he's had along the way. Fascinating individual. And you'll meet him shortly. So today is building business confidence and competence to exceed your expectations. And we're going to talk about that shortly. But before we do that, if you're here live today, thank you for being with us. Appreciate that. And if you're catching us on the replay, let us know where you're at and hashtag replay. Let us know that you watched the replay. And of course, please share this out and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm going to do my shameless plug for what I do as a business coach with the Focal Point family. Yeah, it's true. It's free. No credit card required. If you would like to get a score or identify where you're at in your business growth journey, go to coachphil.ca on the top right-hand corner. There's a link. Click on it and complete the assessment. You'll get a copy of it. If you would like to do a deeper dive, we can set up a time to have a complimentary coaching session to help you understand what that is all about. And if you don't want to do that, at least you've got the assessment and you can carry on from there. So building business confidence and competence to exceed your expectations is what we're going to talk about today. My guest is an amazing individual. Howard Wolpoff is the Chief Marketing Strategist at Profit Master Business Solutions and marketing executive with over 25 years experience helping hundreds of businesses create profitable solutions to drive sales, attract and maintain customers, and build a solid corporate brand. He's currently small business owners actually hire him to rebuild their business confidence and competence, which is why we have that title, and to exceed their expectations because most businesses are in a state of chaos. Boy, is that true. And he helps redirect energies, create accountability, accelerate performance, and actually doubling your revenues, and in the process, making them love their business again. Man, I love what he's saying. It speaks to my DNA. He was previously served as the director of the Best Media in Houston, Texas, and the vice president of client integration at Client Focus Media in Jacksonville, Florida. He also worked in minor league baseball, helping launch the Brooklyn Cyclones. And we talked about some of the baseball stories he's had over his life, as well as a hockey story. It was quite fascinating. He actually is the host of two podcasts, 30 Days of Marketing Mavens and Small Business Marketing. Then and now served as a host and producer on Buzz TV. He's also the host for Marketing Champions on dailyadbrief.com. He's born and raised in the city of New York, but he lives in Jacksonville, Florida. Interesting dude. I'm going to bring him on right now. Sorry, I'm having a glitch. Here he comes. I'm having a message from my platform saying there's an error. And I go, what's the error? Anyway, the error is fixed and you're here. Thank you for being here, Howard.
Thank you, Phil. And thank you for that warm introduction. I appreciate it.
Hey, no worries. Like I was saying in the background, when we were pre-show talking about your hockey and baseball experiences, could you share one of them just for the audience so they know what I'm talking about? Because they're pretty cool.
Sure. Very quickly, I was volunteering in sports to get a job in sports. The hockey story I shared was that I had the opportunity to work in 1994 at the NHL All-Star Game and Stanley Cup Finals at Madison Square Garden. So I was there standing at center ice on the sidelines as the Rangers won their first cup in over 40 years at that point, standing next to the Stanley Cup and watching it come out of the case and start the presentation process. And obviously that's a religious experience for hockey fans.
Yes.
But I had during the All-Star Game weekend, I got an opportunity to hand out game notes for the skills competition, found my way into the Rangers locker room hallway area, and a lot of celebrities are there. And I paused for a moment because I realized I was standing right next to Gordie Howe and Wayne Gretzky having a conversation in the hallway, something that most people don't ever get a chance to experience. So it was quite a moment for me that day.
Yeah, the stars had aligned, right?
Exactly.
Literally, the hockey stars. Oh, I'm a funny guy sometimes. Probably funnier in my head. Today's topic is about building confidence and competencies, and in being able to help people exceed their expectations. Many times we can't see the tree for the forest or the forest for the trees. I forget how that goes. But it sounds like that you've had some success helping entrepreneurs, business owners, get crystal clear on what it is they're doing and where they're trying to get to.
Yeah, it's been a great experience having this role. I've been in marketing for over 25 years in different avenues within sports marketing, within event marketing. I ran, accounts for 2 different agencies, different parts of the country. And now working one-on-one with small business owners, it's an opportunity to help redirect them, get their businesses focused in exactly the direction they wanted, and really help them fulfill their dreams. A lot had this vision of what their business was going to be, and they had a passion for doing something, but that something is really what the skill of the business is, and it's not bookkeeping, it's not marketing, it's not HR. So there's a lot of issues that come up as you're developing a business that they're not always equipped to do. But during that time, things are kind of going fast forward, and there's a point where you have to look back to see what kind of has to be restructured so that it is moving smoother on a regular basis. And once you do that, you find that certain things become a lot easier.
Yeah, I like what you're saying there. Often what my experience is, and I don't know if yours has been the same, is when I connect with a business owner, they're really brilliant at the technical side of what it is they provide, whether a plumber, chiropractor, veterinarian, doesn't matter what they are. They're really good at what they do. And just because of their quality of service and their expertise in what they do, they've done really well. But they get to this place where it's like a wall or a ceiling, however you want to, they can see kind of maybe what they'd like to do, but they're stuck because they're stuck being the technician versus running the business, right? They're still hands-on in many cases. Do you find that to be true, or have you found something else?
More often than not, that's true. It's especially at the beginning stages. If you, again, a lot of people do this because they love what they do. If they're a plumber and they love being a plumber and they love getting underneath the sink and working on the pipes there, they're going to want to be part of that rotation of people going out. And at times at the beginning, you really have to be. You may be the only one going out. But at a certain point, there's a lot of other pieces to the business that have to be addressed. And that includes operations and structure and the accounting part. You got to make sure that you're getting paid and people are being paid for what you're using them for their services. And it's a lot for one person to do. And that's why sometimes it's very good to get some redirection of how you're doing things so that it can go much, much smoother for you.
Have you got an idea or two that you could help our listeners understand how to transition from being the technician and moving into those other areas, like working on their business versus in it?
Well, a lot of it is making sure you have the right marketing structure so that the clients are flowing in and revenue is flowing in. So I go back and forth on my activity on TikTok,
Yeah.
and I say that because, again, in my role as an interviewer on dailyadbrief.com, I'm talking to agency owners around the country, and they are talking about how much they're using TikTok for their clients. It's not just lip syncing and dance videos. It's a lot of conversation going on there. So what I posted yesterday was about creating cross sells, and a lot of people don't know what that is or think about it. But I like to make things on easier wavelength. So when you think about McDonald's and you walk into you go to you just want a burger, they're going to ask you, would you like fries with that? Would you like a Coke with that? So by making that offer and someone saying yes, you just create a cross sell. So I bring that up because finding different ways to speak to your prospects, and at that point now your soon to be customer, when they've made a decision that they want to be your customer, they've already in their mind they've said yes, they've started to say yes, but why don't you throw something else in as an offer? Because statistics say 34% of the time that you are making an offer like that, people are going to say yes. So you want to make sure that you're not leaving money on the table, when if just by asking you can gain a little bit more on the revenue side. And those things start to make things a little easier on the operational side. And it's not an overnight success story. You have to develop that. You have to develop a lot of different pieces to make sure that you can focus on the business side, the actual implementation side, and even more important, the non-business side, the relaxing side. Find different ways as a business owner to enjoy life and family and getting those results that you're looking for to make life a little bit easier.
You just made me think of three things. Thank you. I appreciate you for stimulating my thought process. One of what I heard was it's a pretty good idea to systematize your business. So having a system to get your team to ask for the cross sell, because if you don't ask, then there's 100% missed opportunity. And if you do ask, what was the number?
34% of the time there's an offer made with a cross sell, an upsell, downsell. This is an opportunity for people to say yes to you when they're already starting to say yes.
And then you reminded me about something that I'm aware of, but sometimes I don't speak it, and that who should end the sale?
Who should end the sale? Obviously, it's a sale is going to end when, well, it can't be a trick question. Directly, it's when your client is saying yes and they're now more involved in the process. But sales is if done well, it's a relationship that continues on, because there's many different ways to bring different revenues into your business within each client.
Yeah, totally. And I threw you a loaded question. I didn't mean to do that. I had the answer already. So I'm going to share what I learned. Howard was talking about when he was working in a camera shop, and a guy comes in and talks about a wedding. His daughter's getting married and they're going to Hawaii, and he heard about these video cameras and he wanted some information, and he's coming and he's quite fast. He's probably from New York City, and he's got guns a-blazing. He's a nice guy, but he goes really fast, right? And so Harv actually pointed out a camera. So he bought the camera, told him about a tripod. He bought the tripod, and he told him about a battery. But he didn't tell him anymore because the guy was in a hurry, he thought, and he went out the door with a camera, a battery, and a tripod. And he came back after the trip, and he was livid. Why didn't you tell me it takes so long to charge a battery? And you should have known this. You should have told, right? So Harv stopped the sale versus educating and say, you know what, the batteries take so long to charge, and you want to capture the whole event. If you want to do that, we'd recommend ideally 6 batteries, but you could get away with 3 if you got what, right? So the sale should be ended by us asking a question to our prospect / client, and they say, no, I've got what I need. That's the lesson I got from Harv. It's not our job as the seller to stop the process. We ask a question and say, no, I don't need the extra fries, or I don't need the extended warranty. I'm good. Great, thanks. You've asked.
It's similar now with people who have funnels, and you have multiple levels on the funnel. So buy my program. Yes, click and buy the program. Now, if you want, there's an additional pieces you can get with my program, and they will help you in X, Y, and Z. Would you like that? Okay, yes. Now there's a 3rd level and a 4th level, and different ways to continue to work with the customer by asking questions, as you said, to see what can satisfy their need.
That's a really good modern day example, whether it's a funnel digitally or it's a funnel in the real world. But I'm glad you brought that up, because I totally never even thought about that today. Really good example. And I've opted in for things that I'm interested in, and they get, well, and if you do it now, you can get the next part, the next bonus for this price. And it was up to me to say yes and carry on, and maybe see another opportunity. So it's really professionals let the customer decide when it should end.
Makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and thanks for bringing in the funnels. That's absolutely true. I just took it for granted. And brilliant nugget there. And then the other thing about the business that you were talking about, and helping people get to their expectations, or at least succeed where they thought they could be. I can't remember if I read it or if I watched a video, but it was a post in social media, and they were talking about the mistress in business. And so the mistress in relationships is, having an affair. So this particular wife was concerned about the mistress her husband had, but it's not the mistress we're thinking about. It's the one you and I are talking about. Are we running the business, or is the business running us? And in this example, his wife was talking about was the business was the mistress, because he was spending too much time, putting in too many hours. And you talked about that. Can I bring that up? You talked about that exact scenario. You made a life decision to change your pathway because your wife was more important than your job. So you got rid of your mistress.
I and it was an interesting decision to make, because my first love in sports is baseball. And I was working in baseball, and I had opportunities to move to different teams or stay with the same team I was working with at that point. And I met someone, we got married, and with the kind of schedule that you have with baseball, it's worse than what small business owners go through, and you don't have a stake in the team. So literally, I would have to be up somewhere around 7. I'd be at the ballpark by 9, and the game would end like 10:30 or so. I may not get home until 12:30 after that, after some preparations for the next day. And then a 7-game, 10-game homestand, it's every day like that. So you're not seeing your wife, you're not seeing your kids during the daylight. And it's the divorce rate in baseball is much higher than the national divorce rate. And so I made the decision, and I left baseball.
Still a fan though, right? You still love baseball, but
Huge fan. Still had great experiences at the ballpark after leaving, and I lived in New York City, so I was a Yankee season ticket holder who worked for the Mets and the Mets organization. And now I will live in Jacksonville, Florida, so I get to go to the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, which is the AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins. And I still keep my fingers involved. Some of my things in career have been involved in sports. And I'm still kind of putting my foot back into the water right now, hopefully to keep baseball within my reach with a new project I'm going to be starting shortly.
very cool. So we talked about this being about building confidence and competencies. What are some of the ways that you've helped develop those traits in individuals?
Well, it's really getting to understand them. You want to understand what their passion is, the basics, why they started their business, why they left what they were doing, who they're doing it for, what is their why. You want to fully understand those pieces, and then try to figure out what works best for them within the situation that they're in. It's not a map for everyone to have the same map, because there's things that some people need more than others. Some are more understanding of the relationship with their client, with their customer, than others are. So they have developed a rapport already, and they're bringing in people referring others because of that rapport. There are others who's just a handshake and a hello and no real commitment to developing that relationship further. So they're not getting those pieces, and those are the things you have to teach and help them implement things into their business. I kind of describe the whole thing that the people who hire me, that they're hiring me to rebuild their business confidence and competence, to exceed expectations, because most have a business state of chaos. They're lacking guidance, or frequently overwhelmed. And I help them redirect their energies, create accountability, and accelerate performance, actually doubling their revenues, and the process make them love their business again. I would say to people about my goal is not just be someone's marketing strategist, is to be their retirement strategist, because you want to rebuild the business into something that they can retire on, whether it's monies that they've generated, maybe monies that's from selling the business or what have you, just having it being part of that future plan.
Yeah, I love what you're talking about. I mean, you're speaking my language. You and I basically do a very similar sort of thing, and helping people get the passion back in their heart and the bounce back in their step, and stop the insanity of being an entrepreneur. And the insanity I'm referring to is they do their marketing, they do their presentation, they make a proposal, and the person at the end says, "Can I get this discounted?" And then that happens all the time. So if their only differentiating factor is money, then they're going to be out of business soon, because it becomes a race. Who's going to be out of business sooner, you or your competitor? And when you can do what you're talking about, uh, increase their competencies and their confidence, they'll stand up and be proud and know what their message is and know who our ideal client is. And when they do that, they can lose the clients that are not their ideal and still generate the same kind of revenue, and then build upon that to make and earn and serve in a bigger, brighter way, and get rid of the mistress.
Sometimes it can be cathartic to fire a client and to
Oh,
get someone who's obviously draining you and not giving you what you need in return, to then clear the way for others to come in. You don't want it to be an apples to apples assessment based on dollars. So you want to come up with solutions that are definitely equal or better than what your competition is and doing, and you want to get a sense of who your competition is and what they're doing, but come up with concepts that can help make a decision that it's not always about cost, it's about value. And
oh,
make it on value. Are they getting value for that dollar? You may spend 3 times as much, but if you're getting 10 times as much value, it makes more sense to go that direction to work with you. And that's why having concepts of bundles and downsells, people don't have to say no and walk away. There could be an option for them because it could be price at that point. But why don't you get them started with something that can give them a sense of what you do and how you do it, so that they can make a better decision moving forward when it's time to move on to that next level, being a part of working with you, as opposed to just walking away and not being part of it at all.
yeah. What I like about what you're saying there is, if it's a bit of a litmus test. If you're constantly hearing from people, the last few things they're talking about is price sensitive, you haven't earned the right yet to serve them. In most cases, you haven't done a deep enough dive to find out really what where they're at and where they would like to get to. And if you've taken the time to do the heavy lifting, price becomes it is part of the equation, but it's further down on the sales conversation.
Very
Uh,
true.
I use an upside down triangle. Some say it's a funnel. I never thought of it as a funnel, but if you want to, that's okay. And it's divided into 40, 30, 20, 10. The 40% is building know, like, and trust rapport. The next part is really understanding who they are, where they're at, who their family are, what their business goals are, what their personal goals are, and if they could do that, what would that mean? Really get to what's their major um, motive for buying. And once you've understand that, then you can make your presentation, which is only 20% of the time, and you can present based on what you've done with the first 70%. So when it gets to the end, the 10%, it often goes, "So how do we get started, Phil?" They close it themselves.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's stressless. Anyway, um, one of the things that I've introduced or implement with all of my clients is helping them build up their mental fitness. A couple ways to do that, but just in terms of today, I use something called the 100 Success List, and I get them to make a list of all. I invite them. I don't make them do anything. I invite them to make that list, and the reason I do that is it actually increases their causative power or their self-efficacy, and it helps them realize that they've done a lot of great things, and they can leverage that to move forward. Do you have one nugget like that would be a tool, not the same as mine, but some other mechanism to help them with their competence and confidences?
Well, when I start working with someone, we're always creating a checklist.
Ah,
So, and the checklist is a living working document. And I love the concept of working documents, especially now where people have shared directories and Google Docs they share. You can update and change things on a regular basis. But the list of things that you need to accomplish on day one may not be the same list of things you need to accomplish on day 90. Things have been crossed off. You may, now that you've gone to this level, there's things you need to add on to because you have the time, you have the ability to move forward in a different direction, a more positive way.
mhm.
But the key to it is that we're working on with that list on a weekly basis. So it's there's an order of things that need to happen, and I'm following up with them, and I'm keeping them accountable. I think that's the basic thing. When you are working by yourself, you have a list, whether it's in writing, whether it's in your head, things you need to chip away and work on in addition to the tasks at hand. But if you decide, maybe not today, I won't do this, and maybe not to, maybe I'll push this off to next week. You don't have anyone accountable to saying, well, why didn't that get done this week? Then there's less of a chance it's going to get done. So that really is, it's looking at this checklist as a team project where there's definitely a supervisor and an implementer in the process where I do have a hands-on with things as well. But it's key that supervisor is making sure the implementer is getting things done.
Very cool. I'm going to share some information about where they can find you. That's part of it. And to make it easier for them to really connect with you, I'm going to put the URL up there. And I didn't actually mean to get rid of both of us. There we go. That's your LinkedIn profile. And they can find you at linkedin.com/Howard Wolpoff and connect with you there. That's one place. Great information in there. And the other place I want to introduce them to is your website, which will be here, right there. And there's that handsome dude right there. And that's a way you could connect with you in two places on the internet.
And yes, please reach out to me there if you have any questions, any thoughts. There's certain things I'm updating with my website. All my podcasts are on my website, Small Business Marketing Then and Now, and the videos I'm updating. All the videos I've done for where I'm speaking to agency owners and marketing executives about what's going on in marketing are on my profile on LinkedIn. And hopefully an update soon will be with the catching up on the video that I was doing a checklist. I'm approaching my 300th interview for that show. I did about 125 for a different show, and really the process to get all of them on to the website is taking a little bit longer than I had hoped. But there's a lot to learn from those videos if you check out my profile on LinkedIn.
Terrific. That's fantastic. Yeah, I can appreciate where you're talking about. There's a lot to getting it done to put it on there. It's not quite as simple as I thought. Well, it is. But it's not the only thing we're doing in life, right? And they
That's
get
true.
done, but we still continue to run our businesses. Anyway, well, I appreciate you being on the show today and sharing a little bit of your wisdom, certainly from a 35,000 foot view. And now anybody who's catching this today or tomorrow or a year from now, know how to get hold of you and or myself. And I'm grateful that you were here, and I look forward to a little bit more green room time with you in a sec. But in the meantime, I'm going to wrap this up and say thank you again for being here today.
All right. Thank you so much, Phil. And thank you all for watching.
Awesome. Talk to you in a bit. Well, if you didn't get nuggets out of that, then you weren't paying attention. Marketing structure, have a system, who wins the sale, and having a checklist, a list of things to make sure that you're getting done, because being accountable to yourself is an important aspect. I want to wrap this up with one little plug for me here, and that is this. If you're have that voice in your head, the voice that tells you who are you to do this, you're too old, too young, not smart enough, not qualified, imposter syndrome. If you go here, there's a complimentary assessment that you can take to see what your saboteurs are. And by the way, we all have 10, and we all have a judge with 9 supporting cast. So if you'd like to find out what that's about, go there, do the assessment. Again, it's free. If you'd like a debrief, just certainly let me know that you've done the assessment. Send me an email at phil@coachphil.ca, and happy to help you understand what that means. Again, nothing to pay for a 20-minute discovery call, and answer some questions around that. And last but not least is reminding everybody about this aspect of life. Where did she go? Right there. The you in wonderful is representing you. So you are wonderful. Remember that. And you're unique. Remember that also. Until next time, I'm Coach Phil. Remember to share this out. And if you're watching the replay, #replay. Thanks for being here with us today.
I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm brave.